right, welcome to a City Voices interview with Issa Ibrahim, artist and author. We're going to be talking about Issa's book, The Cosmic Knockout. So Issa, The Cosmic Knockout was a very raw, sexual, violent, horrific at most times book. So let's get right into it, okay, Issa? So in the story, you have a number of sexual relationships with staff and patients. They are your muses.
Yeah.
You
The thing I want to emphasize in that language and how I describe that was the release of the id. So when you're dealing with the id, and you're kind of like on the brink of psychosis or just over the brink of psychosis. It's all about your hungers and your appetites. You know, that it was written from the standpoint of a 24-year-old male. And a lot of that stuff that was going on was my 24-year-old self. And now at my 58-year-old self, I've matured, hopefully, and grown. I was a broken man thrust into a broken system. And I was approached by these women, these muses, you know, and objectified. So you lean into the objectification, you know, because it satisfies or clarifies or even rationalizes your own your low self-esteem and your low self-worth. This is what I was wrestling with at that time. You know, it's a trajectory, and the wisdom comes in my understanding of my family relationships, my relationship with my mother. So the side stories play themselves out towards the end when you discover that this guy has, against all odds, fostered a meaningful relationship with one of these muses. These other muses that came along were just helping him follow a journey to self-discovery at a later age, as all people are in our lives, I believe.
Do you think a movie can be made of The Cosmic Knockout or an animated film?
That's what I'm shooting for, so that I can put it in the hands of someone who could maybe take it to another level that I'm not quite capable of doing. I would love to see an animated / live action.
Oh, like Kill Bill.
Something like that, exactly.
Now, did you really smear feces all over your face and walk about the units?
You're really going for the gusto, aren't you, Dan? Thank you so much.
Do you remember the reactions you got when you were walking around with feces?
I'll tell you, you know, the thing about being in a mental hospital is that there's nothing shocking. There's nothing shocking. And that was just another day on the mental hospital, on the ward of a mental hospital. And I've seen worse. I've seen people bloodied. There's this one guy who cut his penis off and brought it to the nurse. You know, I mean, it's just like, it's just another day on the ward of a mental hospital. So me smearing feces was just like, wash that off. You crazy, wash that off. You know, who's gonna clean that up now? Who's gonna clean that up?
Right.
That's the reaction you get, yeah. So
feces is a metaphor for what?
There is the dung of Africa, where it's worshipped in certain cultures in third worlds where it's used to refertilize the soil.
And and in rituals, I believe there's a ritual burning of the dung too.
Yes, exactly. It's got a deep cultural significance that goes beyond just a naked lady smearing feces. Yeah.
All right. Did you really lick toilets and urinals upon orders from God or the devil as some kind of divine hazing ritual?
A divine hazing ritual. You definitely had it. You definitely got it. Yeah.
So what was God or the devil's intention for making you do that? Can you understand the cosmic rationale?
Obedience, but also an extreme humiliation and recognizing that in the bathroom by the toilet of a psych center, a mental hospital where you are a patient, you can find God. And that was my rock bottom. And in that rock bottom, I found divinity. I found God. I found something more than myself.
Right. There's a condition that shamans experience when they're young and being initiated into shamanism. It's called shamanic illness.
Mm.
A psychiatrist would call it, psychosis. A person on the street would call it batshit crazy. But shamanic illness is when the young neophyte shaman experiences the spirits coming to tear them apart, limb from limb, inside and out, tear them to shreds. And then these spirits build the shaman back up from all the guts and the slime and the spit and everything that's been torn out. The spirits build them back up into a new human being, a human being capable of being the shaman of the tribe. Does that seem like something you may have experienced?
Yes,
In a more Western way, perhaps?
In a more Western way, I see through the lens of a 21st century sci-fi comic book, Western lens, definitely. The hero's journey. Campbell also described, Joseph Campbell talked about that, the hero's journey.
So like your main characters, do you feel that all human beings have aspects of the zombie, the zombie, the demon, the superhero, and the Messiah? Do we all have all these different archetypes?
Those are the archetypes, and that's getting into what Jung was talking about, the archetypes that make up who we are. And we all have the ability to channel each one or suppress. No one wants to be the demon, even though he exists within us.
Oh, now a witch is something special in your book. Tell us what a witch can do.
Witches can do whatever they can get away with. There are good witches and bad witches. There are witches that don't follow the rules and dance on the dark side of the spiritual street, and as a result, channel a darker energy, which can sometimes harm them as well as others around them when they start using those dark forces for ill or for bad. But on the whole, witches are great. Witches, they're in touch with the earth and the environment and themselves and elements beyond themselves. And so
you fell in love with a witch.
Yeah, there are plenty of them out there, and plenty who have yet to come into their witchery, who maybe aren't quite yet there. We all have the ability to tap into something greater than ourselves.
Falling in love with a witch in the book was perhaps not the best idea, because she had black magic, trickery, seduction, and maybe perhaps didn't love you as much as you loved her. Can you tell us about that? You
will be seduced, and sometimes that seduction leads you down roads that you shouldn't go. But it's all a journey. It's all a choice, usually. And if you make that choice to follow that road, you suffer the consequences if you run afoul of the wrong one, And it was a learning experience.
Yes, of course. Yes, it is. It is a learning experience. The quote is, "To have loved and lost is better than to never have loved at all."
There you go.